Sometimes I feel like I can diagnose an alcoholic by whether they feel drawn to me. Like this just happened last night. Okay, I was at this my husband's like a reunion high school up in his village. Oh look, there's the Alps over there, by the way. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, I've told him that I have this I'm like a magnet, and he believes me, but he's never like really seen it in real time. But I was at this reunion with him at this like disco thing up in this tiny town. Like it's the only club within an hour away from here. And yeah, he knew most people there, but it's also like people who are like not a part of his high school group. Whatever. It's all the people who turned 40 last year. They have this celebration every year in France. It's actually really cool. I'd love to talk about that more. But this one guy, man, I swear I can always tell. I'm like, okay, that person's an alcoholic, that person now, because they're drawn to me. They're obsessed with me. That sounds like, ooh, I'm just like a narcissist. There's something about me that's like, hey, I have no boundaries. I'll talk to you no matter what. I don't even know if it's just like it's not just alcoholics, it's perverts. Anybody who's like a predator, they're like, I have a target on my head. Now, luckily, I have learned how to, even though I give off those vibes, I swear to God, it's like I'm like a cat with like victim pheromones or something. That sounds terrible because I don't see myself like as a victim. I definitely like give off some sort of energy like, hi, it's going to be challenging for me to set boundaries with you and like whatever, but I'm going to do it. But you know, it's challenging. This guy came up, and as soon as he walked in, just came straight over to me. And I'm sitting there with my husband, and some of his friends were talking, and he's insistent on talking to me. Then he finds out that I speak English, and oh boy, oh God, now he wants to really speak English. So I'm like, okay. So I don't know, whatever. I like try to chat with him a little bit, but he's really drunk. But also like kept looking up at the karaoke thing and just kept like, looking at my phone, like doing the signals, okay? Like, oh yeah, doesn't pick up on it. Anyway, I finally kind of like pull myself out of that situation. I used to go to the bathroom or just do something like, I learned that trick from my sister and lots of my friends because I used to get hijacked into conversations with alcoholics and predators all the time for like 2 hours sometimes, because it never occurred to me that I could just lie and be like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Something comes over me, and I know this is rooted in what happened to me as a kid, multiple times as a child, you know, childhood essay, la la la, whatever. And so it's like, I'm fighting myself in these moments. I'm like, okay, you gotta go, Melanie, but how you gotta do that? Because I just have been conditioned, you know, also having a narcissist father, blah, 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 like to just sit there and to just like hope that they eventually catch on. But this time I didn't. I was proud of myself. I like entertained this conversation for about 5 minutes, and I was like, yeah, I'm done. I don't want to be here. I don't want to talk to this person. They're making me feel uncomfortable. So I left, and then I went and sat down because my back hurts all the time. I have chronic back pain. I can only stand for like 15 minutes at a time. So I sat down, and then here he comes. So I got up, and because, you know, this is all Anthony's friends. He never sees them. So, you know, he's always keeping an eye on me, but I was like, hey, okay, heads up, can you like play interference between me and this person, because this person is obsessed with me and he's got the like alcoholic stare going on that I've talked to you about. He's like, oh, okay. And he watched this happen. Oh, look at this door. I'm back at the little door, but the horses are gone. So anyway, once I filled him in, he's fascinated by this. He was like, wow, it's like he's obsessed with you. He'd be across the room just staring. You know, I don't actually think this man is like a predator necessarily, but this is a man, like I'm telling you, anybody who's grown up in like an alcoholic family, or, you know, as a survivor of childhood SA, or, you know, a narcissist parent or something like that, you know what I'm talking about. I think sometimes I should have a card in my back pocket that said, and when these people come up to me, because it happens all the time, and it's not just men, it's women too, I should just be like, oh, if you feel compelled to talk to me, you may want to go to, I don't know, a recovery group or something. You want to get checked out. Because this same thing happened like, I don't know, a couple years ago. I went out with some girlfriends and there was a new girl there, and I immediately picked up on, there's a restlessness and There's an energy about addicts that I am so familiar with, unfortunately. And I also say this as somebody who used to struggle with addiction. I get it. I mean, I speak that language, so I recognize that in others. But also basically just because I grew up, I'm super codependent, chronically codependent. So like I have a thermometer up the butt of everyone around me already. And I try to just not pay attention to everyone's temperature and center myself in terms of how, okay, like it's so hard for me to be in my body because I'm just so obsessed with what everybody else, and it's a trauma response. It's a like, make sure I'm okay response. It's a, it's rooted in childhood stuff, right? I understand where it comes from. But I remember like anytime I can't always tell, but it's almost a superpower at this point. And I remember going out with my friends and I sat down, and as soon as I sat down, this one woman across the table, I'd never met her before. She was staring at me, and I was like, oh God, here we go. Stared at me the entire time I was there. And I was like, it was almost like a game of like, I was like, I'm not looking at her. And then I'd look at her when she talked, but she literally was just staring at me because she knows that I am struggling to not be sucked into her. I don't know how, look, alcoholics and addicts would not exist without their enabler. They can't exist without their enabler. So they have like a radar. Enabler, oh, that one, and bounce, right? And so like I walk in a room, and even though, I've been working in recovery of my codependency. It's my default, but I'm really like good at like not falling into it or not being obsessed with other people, and really not, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But I swear I think it's like in my DNA or something. They know as soon as I walk in, every addict, alcoholic, or predator is like, that girl right there. I literally have a bullet on my head. And it takes and I have to just pretend that I'm not this person who's like easily drawn into their energy and into their world. Like, who doesn't just, I secretly, sometimes I just want to like tell someone, I think you're an alcoholic. Like, I know where you are at all times. And I'm not even looking at you. I have antennas up that follow you around. You know what I mean? It's really this weird, unwanted superpower. I don't want it. I don't like it. It's exhausting. And so like the whole night last night, I was like, okay, where's the guy staring at me? Okay, I know he's out there smoking a cigarette, but he's coming, So Anthony had to play bumper bowling or whatever. He had to be like a buffer. Every night he's like, oh, here he comes. And he just because he just didn't want me to have to deal with it. This man was so wasted that, he was just kept getting more wasted through the night. He just knew that there's no talking to this man. You know what I mean? Like when people are that drunk, like they're not going to register anything. So I have learned the hard way, just avoidance. I just keep moving. I won't look at you. I won't talk to you. I just keep dancing. So I'm dancing around this man all night. It was exhausting, but I held the line. It's not even about them. It's about me. Like, it's so hard when I have somebody who's just staring at me to just stay in my body. It's so hard for me to stay there. Right? Like, part of my recovery is like breathing into my body, being like, nope, I'm here. None of my business. Like creating almost like a bubble around myself. And I was able to like dance and have fun and all that stuff, but it took so much work. It took so much work to not be like, to not let this man talk to me. And I haven't been in a situation that extreme in a long time. This doesn't happen all the time, right? But when there's one who just like, who knows? Maybe he wouldn't have done this if I hadn't talked to him for those 5 or 10 minutes when I didn't want to. And he probably was like, I can pick up on this woman not centering what she needs, and instead she's centering me and what I want. Perfect. God. Anyway, I swear to God, if I hadn't been working so hard on this codependency stuff and therapy and MDR and all this crap, I am just like, I'm surprised I'm not dead. Because even though I'm a big, strong, tough girl, when I'm around these predator kind of people or addicts and stuff, they take over the driving wheel, they're steering everything, and I'm just along for the ride.